some devastating news, I would say, but I don't think it was unexpected given the time period of the season. Caitlin Clark announced on her social media that she will miss the rest of the season. She captioned it in short, in part, I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season. I spent hours in the gym every day with a singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I am feeling. She was limited to 13 games this season.
The WNBA just got hit with the kind of gut punch it cannot afford. Caitlin Clark, the league's golden ticket, its walking headline, its cash cow, is done for the season. Not just sitting out a game here or there, not day-to-day done, finished, shutting it down. She announced it herself on social media, and the words dripped with frustration. I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season. Hours in the gym, grinding rehab, pushing for a comeback, and yet here we are. Clark played only 13 games this year before the groin and leg injuries piled up, before her body said, enough.
How I am feeling. She was limited to 13 games this season, and she hasn't played since July 15th when she suffered a right groin injury in the final minute of the Fever's win versus the Sun right before the All-Star game.
I mean, that's our girl. That's our girl. And I feel like no matter what happened, you have to protect you and you have to protect your career. There's no reason to force anything. And I feel like her just kind of having that approach of doing what's best for her is all we can ask for, because we'd rather.
And if you think this is just another injury update, wrong. This is an earthquake for the Indiana Fever, yes, but more importantly, it's a direct shot at the WNBA's fragile foundation. Because Caitlin Clark is the league right now. Attendance, ratings, merchandise, sponsorships, all tied to her. And now she's sidelined, smiling politely for cameras while the league scrambles behind the scenes. Even worse, the whispers have already started. What if Clark doesn't come back? What if she walks away from a league that couldn't protect her, couldn't officiate her games fairly, and couldn't give her the security she deserves?
Caitlin, sit out and then come back next season and we're ready to roll and we're ready to rock. And so we've just been supporting her and she's been supporting us. She's always there. We're getting to watch film and she's in there walking through saying, hey, and we're like, get out, go do what you need to do. But I mean, she's still the same. And I feel like our approach, because we've been missing her for so long, is just to come in and compete. And we have a good rhythm, I think, with everyone that's came in. And so just keeping that as our main focus.
Candace Parker just said what the league doesn't want to hear. Clark was right to shut it down, and Parker's warning hits hard because she lived this story herself. So here's the million-dollar question. If Caitlin Clark quit tomorrow, would the WNBA survive? Stick around, because this isn't just about one season. This is about the league's entire future and the instant regret that's already haunting it. What do you think? Would Clark really walk away for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's rewind. Caitlin Clark isn't just another promising young guard. She's the story.
Caitlin, sit out and then come back next season and we're ready to roll and we're ready to rock. And so we've just been supporting her and she's been supporting us. She's always there. We're getting to watch film and she's in there walking through saying, hey, and we're like, get out, go do what you need to do. But I mean, she's still the same. And I feel like our approach, because we've been missing her for so long, is just to come in and compete. And we have a good rhythm, I think, with everyone that's came in. And so just keeping that as our main focus.
Now, Candace Parker, who knows a thing or two about injuries, came out and basically said,
the NCAA's all-time scoring queen, the viral sensation who dragged Iowa basketball into the mainstream, the rookie who sold out arenas coast to coast before even lacing up in the W. When she entered the WNBA, it wasn't just. By July, the cracks showed. A groin injury in the Fever's win over Connecticut. Lingering leg issues. A body worn down not just by games, but by the pressure of carrying an entire league's relevance on her back. She hasn't played since July 15th. 13 games. That's all fans got before their superstar was sidelined.
Coach Steph White had said that they were hopeful that Clark would return by the end of the regular season, but Caitlin was unable to fully reincorporate back into practice. And, she had never missed a game in her collegiate career or first year in the WNBA. So this is definitely a blow, I'm sure, for the organization, but also for her.
And now, instant regret. The Fever may have found a rhythm without her, even snagging a Commissioner's Cup win. But let's not kid ourselves. Nobody tuned in to see Indiana without Clark. Fans came for number 22, not for a by-committee offense grinding out games. The WNBA built a house of cards around one player, and now that player is in sweats on the sideline. The contradictions are everywhere. Steph White said they were hopeful Clark might return. Candace Parker said, don't you dare. The Fever players say they support her resting, but the league's marketing arm quietly prays she'll limp back just in time for playoff cameras. It's a tug of war between common sense and desperation, and Clark's health is the rope. And then there's the fans. Their loyalty isn't to the WNBA brand, it's to Clark. They've made it clear, if she's not playing, they're not watching. That's a brutal truth for a league that spent decades trying to build a collective identity. Because what do you do when your only star powerful enough to move the needle realizes she doesn't need you as much as you need her? The league already sees the writing on the wall. If Clark ever decides enough is enough, it's not just Indiana that crumbles. It's the entire WNBA ecosystem. Sponsors, ticket sales, media deals, all hanging by a single thread. And right now, that thread is fraying. Caitlin Clark didn't just wake up one morning and say, "I'm shutting it down." This was a decision months in the making, forged in the lonely grind of rehab. Hours in the gym, hours in the pool, hours with trainers, pushing and testing the leg, only to feel the same pain again. She admitted it herself. Her entire summer revolved around one goal: getting back on the court. And when that goal slipped away, disappointed wasn't big enough to capture the heartbreak. But here's the thing most fans don't realize. There's a massive difference between being cleared and being ready. The medical staff can say, "She can jog, she can shoot." That doesn't mean she's ready to absorb playoff-level hits from defenders. Still, the emotional toll is real. This is a competitor who never missed a college game, who never missed a WNBA game in her rookie year. Now she's sidelined, forced to watch teammates battle without her. That eats at an athlete's soul. And yet, she still shows up. She's still in film rooms, still on the sideline, still encouraging. That's leadership. But make no mistake, it's leadership wrapped in frustration. Because deep down, Clark knows this isn't just rehab. This is a test of whether the league values her enough to change. This isn't just a fever story anymore. It's a WNBA story, a league story, a culture story. Because whether you love her or hate her, Caitlin Clark has become the lens through which the entire basketball world views this league. And when the Fever bench her, whether it's for injury caution or organizational philosophy, it doesn't just impact Indiana. It ripples across the entire sport. Let's be real. The
Coach Steph
WNBA
White
has
had
spent
said that they were
decades
hopeful
begging
that
for this
Clark
moment.
would return by the
A
end of the regular
superstar
season,
who pulls
but
numbers,
Caitlin
headlines,
was unable to
and
fully
merchandise sales
reincorporate back
at
into
levels the
practice.
league has
And,
never
you know,
touched.
She had never missed a
ESPN
game
and major
in her
networks
collegiate career
are giving
or first year in
primetime
the
slots
WNBA.
because
this
Clark is on the floor.
Definitely a blow, I'm sure,
Stadiums
for
sell
the
out,
organization, but
not
also for
because
her.
the Sky are in town, not because the Sun are in town, but because Caitlin Clark is in town. That's the truth. So when you bench her, when you decide that the league's most bankable star doesn't need to be on the court, you're not just making a basketball decision, you're making a business one. You're telling the networks, the sponsors, and the fans, we don't care about the show. And in a league still fighting for every inch of recognition, that is a dangerous game to play. Meanwhile, in the culture wars of women's basketball, this benching pours gasoline on the fire. Fans who already believe the league resents Clark now feel validated. Players who feel overshadowed by her hype see this as a balancing act. Media members are split, some defending the Fever, others outright calling it sabotage. And the broader implication? If the WNBA mishandles this moment, if they let the narrative run wild without clarity, they risk turning their biggest asset into their most divisive figure. Because the question isn't just why she was benched. The question is, what does this league really want Caitlin Clark to be? So here we are, the million-dollar cliffhanger. Was Caitlin Clark benched because of her injury? Or was it because Stephanie White and the Fever brass decided, in some twisted calculation, that they were better off without her? I'll tell you this, if it's the injury, fine. Protect your franchise cornerstone. Nobody wants Clark rushed back into action only to risk a career-altering setback. But if it's politics, if it's resentment, ego, or some misguided culture-first experiment, then Indiana just lit the fuse on a ticking time bomb. Because the fans won't forgive it, the sponsors won't overlook it. And Clark? She's too big, too marketable, too important to be boxed in by an organization that doesn't fully believe in her. You don't cage the golden goose, you build the empire around it. That's how stars and dynasties are made. And let's not kid ourselves. The clock is ticking. Every day Clark spends on the bench while this controversy swirls is a day the WNBA risks losing control of its own narrative. Is this league really ready to turn their brightest spotlight into a shadow war? Is the Fever front office really arrogant enough to believe they can ride this storm out without consequences? I'll say it again. This decision will define the Fever.